I just had to put this one word on there for this man. He's trifling, okay? He's trifling. I don't like him.
Sometimes you need trifling trash as a treat.
Shh. Not only are we discussing Olympia Soirée, we're doing a tier list of all of these characters, we're going to rank them based on how brideable they are. What better theme for Olympia Soirée? A game where it's all about finding a husband while fighting for social justice at the same time. Hi, welcome everyone. Hello, stunners. I'm Rue Jitteru, and I'm unreasonably obsessed with Otome games and dating games. And today, I am joined by Hannah, Ship's Navigator.
Hi.
So why don't we go ahead and talk about how marriageable these guys are?
Oh, we both feel it's probably one of the most, if not the most, like romantic mainstream Otome games out there. Bonus, I love the art too.
It's one of our favorite Otome games. All right, y'all. Here are the tiers of how brideable or how marriageable are these guys. Starting at the top, we've got husband soulmate. That's like the best of the best. Marry him, love him forever. He's soulmate, okay? He's our favorite. And at the very bottom is, no, marriage is not happening. Do not marry. And then I'll also say, we will be discussing things like the characters' personalities. We'll discuss things that we saw in the common route, or maybe a few things that are in the very beginning of each one of their routes. We'll talk about our impressions of each characters, things like that. But we will be doing our best to avoid any major plot spoilers. All right, y'all. Number one is Byakuya. This is MC. That's her real name is Byakuya, but she goes by Olympia on the island. That's her nickname. And I think it means doll or something like that. Byakuya has a cute little mouse named Daifuku, who you see on her shoulder. She is the last of the white, and her mission is to find a husband it's a requirement by law basically at this point, because she is a sun dancer, and being the last of the white, she is the only one with the power to make the sun rise. As a personality, she's very naive, but you know what? She is spunky at the same time, and she has a heart for the disenfranchised people of the island, and she is a champion for the people of Yomi. And if you ask me, she is invited to the barbecue. Yes, she is. I'm a big fan of this white girl Byakuya right here.
Straight up, she's my queen. She's one of my favorite MCs ever. There's a lot of layers. A lot of things happened to her, and she was practically sheltered a good portion of her life. And she is has this whole thing. It's like, oh, you turn 18, by the way, go find a man, go have babies, get married, yada, yada, yada. So it's a lot. It's a lot. But I think there is beauty in, how strong-willed she is and how she is very determined. And she's a very strong female character. Yes, she has her faults, but I think her strength outweighs her faults. And she's beautiful. She's so pretty. And I like her little mouse buddy too. She loves people and she wants to see a change. She's great.
And she uses her position in society to help make change happen. And that really makes me love and respect her. All right, so we both put Byakuya under Say Yes. The reason I put her there is because I love this girl so much. She's actually one of my favorite MCs of all time. I love her personality. I love that she overcomes insane adversity. I also love that she's powerful. She's a strong female character that is still feminine and still has a realism to her personality. And she has to work for what she gets. And she's a good person, and I love her. I can't say enough good things. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be a good match for her in this mission because I can't give her babies. And that's her whole thing. She's supposed to have babies. But you know what? I support her. And if that wasn't a thing, and if she was like, hey, Rue, will you marry me? I would say yes.
And I definitely, like, if it was a different scenario, I'd be like, yeah, let's be waifus together. You're my waifu. She's just great. She is, and I like how you brought up about her femininity. She still keeps that and still has this strength, because you could be very strong and be feminine at the same time. You know what I mean? That Being feminine shouldn't be a negative thing, shouldn't keep you from being strong or anything like that. Yeah, like I said, she was practically sheltered, and she had this traumatic experience happen to her when she was a kid. She has no one from the island anymore. It's just her. I think she's handling that situation far better than I would handle it. That's for sure.
She also values relationships, and she wants to love and she wants to be loved. And another thing that makes her unique from other MCs in most Otome games, especially Japanese Otome games, is she's very sex positive, which is really rare.
And I wish I would see more of that, because usually they're like, oh, you know, they're all skittish and everything like that. This is totally different, and I love that.
This is Akaza. Akaza, he is of the red, and he's pretty high up. The red, as we saw, they are one of the primary colors, which means they are one of the most powerful colors on the island. And he is the director of the Kotowari, which is like a government organization that keeps the peace, keeps records. It's a governing body, really. And as a personality type, he is definitely a classic kudere. He's definitely Hannah's type. He's Hannah's type, and look at Hannah's picture there, okay? Look, do you recognize some similarities? His nickname is the Iron Mask, and that's just because of his kudere nature. You know how the kuderes are all like stony and cold and everything. They don't show a whole lot of emotion. They're stoic, that kind of thing. They're responsible, you know, that kind of thing weighs on them. He's a stickler for rules, but he's willing to break rules if it means doing the right thing. And that's one thing that's big about Akaza, is like he knows he has to play the game on the island, and he knows how the society is set up. But if there's something that he strongly believes in or that he wants to support, he will crack some eggs if he needs to. But he is given the nickname the Iron Mask. And as we saw from the very beginning, I put him as backup husband because throughout the entire game, he's like, okay, you have to get married because you have to have babies. You have 1 year to get married, Olympia. And if you can't find a husband, I will be your husband, okay? Find somebody or it's me. So if it doesn't work out, he's backup husband. He also cooks. I love that he cooks. He smokes meats and stuff like that.
He, like, honestly, if you were to look up the word kudere in a dictionary, I think he would be up there. He'd probably be first. He's very kudere. I do very much get shipped with the kuderes and the poster boys. And he's both, by the way. He's kudere poster boy. He is perfect for Olympia in a lot of ways because, you know, he likes some feisty girls. And he has a lot of layers to him that it's interesting that you don't see at first. Please play this game, especially that route. That is one of my favorite routes.
I also liked his route because I liked how Byakuya was in his route. And she was kind of a tsundere with him, you know? She was like, oh, I can't stand him. I can't believe he's not romantic at all. So she doesn't really like give him a chance. The whole time I was playing it, I was like, girl, he's perfect. What's your problem? I would marry this man so fast. I'm putting him right here with Byakuya. And the reason I'm putting him there is because he's not my favorite of all these guys. I don't think he's boring or anything, but there are parts in his route where I kind of checked out a little bit, but then I came back because it got exciting again. He's really passionate when he finally falls in love, and he has one of the best steamy scenes. He's attractive, he cooks, and he's a good person who wants to do right by other people, and he's inspired by Olympia, by Byakuya, to help make change on the island, and I appreciate him for that, and I think he'd be a really great husband. He also has money, you know? We like that. So he'd be a good husband.
Whether I like it or not, kuderes are my soulmates. Look, they need a spicy lady to keep them in check, okay? And I will be that lady to keep them in check.
I love that. This is Amakusa Shido Tokisada. Here's a fun fact. Tokisada was actually based off of a real-life historic figure. And he was basically a Christian. He was a martyr, essentially. He tried to help people who were poor and starving and who were disenfranchised. And historically speaking, it didn't work well for his favor. He picked a fight with someone he couldn't win against, who was in a position of power. And he tried to resist, and he lost his life at a very young age. So he now appears in Olympia Soirée as a love interest. He's the youngest of the love interests. His personality is very friendly. He's really sweet. He's really kind. He's kind of like a dede sort of. He was the guy that was catcalling us in the bathhouse immediately. He's like, hey, pretty lady. But then he ends up being just a really sweet, friendly guy. He is an outsider, so he washed up on shore one day and became part of the green. And all the outsiders, they typically come in and they have some kind of special power about them. So they typically are seen as very high class. They're very prized and treasured members of the community on that island. And so there's that. And then he has a pet mouse named Paris. And he's great. And his character is one of those where I misjudged him when I first played this game. I was like, oh, here's this annoying kid. But then it turned out that he's much more mature than I thought he would be. He mans up in a great way. And I thought that was a great, pleasant surprise for a character like him. And I actually thought he was a pretty good match for Byakuya.
I think he's adorable. And I agree, like, when I was going into it, I didn't know. And I was kind of like, eh. One thing that did bug me as, like, throughout the route, he would, sister, he call it sister all the time. And that kind of was like, sometimes it would like, I don't like that. That's weird when I'm supposed to be romancing you or whatever. But I thought it was a really good route. His story was way better than I thought it would be. He's super adorable and he's sweet. And he does. I love how you put that man up, because he does man up. So I liked him. I thought they were a really cute match.
They're close in age and they were sweet together. Okay, I'm going to put Tokisada at, if we're single, at 50. And the reason I'm putting him there is because although I really like him as a character, I really like him. He's a great character. He's fun, he's cute, he does man up, which I appreciate. But for me personally, I like guys to be a little bit more mature than he is. He's more mature than what I thought he would be in the beginning. But to compare him to some of these other characters, I don't have as much like swoony feelings for him. He did have he had like a couple of good scenes in there where I was like, oh, Twitter pated, how sweet, and I loved his dynamic with Olympia. But for me, you know what? Let's be best friends. We'll be besties. And if we're both single by the time we're 50, let's get hitched.
I thought, it's weird for me, but honestly, like, I would, especially if I was doing for myself or Olympia, I would say yes to that, because he does grow. And also that he has a huge, knowing that a little bit of things from Catharsis, the sequel, he has a huge glow up. And like I've heard like non-spoiler type things about his glow up. And so I was just like, okay, that really sold me. So I think he'd be a really good partner.
This is Himuka. And Himuka he's, as we saw in the common chapter, he's known as the Undertaker, which means that he has a relationship to the power of Batsu. He's an extremely powerful Batsu user. He's the most powerful Batsu user, in fact, which means that he has the ability to make people essentially disappear and become a soul crystal. So he could basically end you in a flash. He's mysterious. We don't know a whole lot about him. We don't know at first, like, where does he live? What does he do? What's his deal? Why is he kind of acting creeper? Just like, why is he so sus? And why is he so powerful? And what's going on with him? And why does he know so much? He's naive and knowledgeable all at the same time, which is a really interesting combination. He's very much a hermit. We find pretty early on that he lives by himself. He lives like in a hut on the beach. he has some similarities to Byakuya. Like in the common chapter, we saw how she looked at him and thought that his hair was like her hair. And there is a connection that she felt to him pretty much immediately. And so that was an interesting little bit of foreshadowing there. And I will also say that although Himuka looks very feminine, he is a he, him pronouns. I'd say whenever I do those bone bride banishes on Reddit, he's a very mixed bag as far as what people would prefer if they bone bride or banish him. I matched him up one time with 2 other femboys, and Himuka had to be on there because he's like the ultimate femboy. He's wearing a dress and everything. He's adorable. I actually love him. He's hit or miss for people, it seems. Milky says, I like the mystery, but he's sus. And being a hermit is fine, but I need more than a hut. Real. Sirius, hi Sirius, welcome Stunner. Probably my natural favorite. Yeah.
I liked him. I wasn't like in love with him. I really liked him, liked the route. Actually, I want to preface and say I liked all the routes in this game. When I see him, I think of like a goth fanboy. He has that vibes. He's carrying his little skull around, you know, very much Undertaker like. Personally, and when I say this from a person, I don't think we would have any kind of chemistry in that regard. You know, it's just kind of not my type, not my thing.
Foxcat's putting him in the friend zone right now. All right, yeah, some people love him and some people don't. I'm putting him under it's a contract because as far as being a romantic partner, he just doesn't really excite me like that. He has an awkwardness to him, which is endearing in a sense of reading it. But as far as like if that awkwardness was applied towards me, I don't know if that would work out for me. Also, he's I like that he's magical, you know? I do like him quite a bit, but also there's things about him that I'm just kind of like, I don't know about you, dude. It's going to be weird between us. How about you?
I said if we were single at 50, because, you know, it's like, you know, the whole thing, he could change or, you know, we could maybe spark something by then. That's why I was like, I'll give him a chance, you know. Throwing it out there.
Give him a chance. Yeah. This is Kuroba. Kuroba is of the black, and he lives, he actually lives part-time in Yomi and part-time on the surface world because he works as both a medical doctor and a Haku researcher, and he's also the deputy director of the Kotowari, so he works for Akaza. And because of that, he is one of the few that is of the black and is allowed to even set foot on the surface world. He's very flirty. He kind of gives playboy vibes. See, I don't know if he actually is a playboy, but he's flirting with Byakuya every chance he gets. He's also a very fun personality, you know? He has really cute dates and things with Byakuya, and he's got a confidence to him, but he also, at the same time, he has to earn that confidence. And I don't think he has it naturally because he's at the bottom of the social class structure. And he's highly discriminated against as far as being of the black. And so he's had to work his ass off to get anything that he has in life and to get any modicum of respect and anything that he has. He's the only doctor that will treat people in Yomi, and the kids love him. The community down there loves him. He's really good friends with Yosuga, and he's got a lot of drive. He's got a lot of heart and a lot of persistence, and he's got a fun and flirty personality.
He is. He's a lot of fun. He's ridiculous. And I think he's just a flirt. I don't think he's one of those guys that would just hop around and not care about your feelings, cheating, what have you. I think he's just, he's just a flirt. But yeah, I do. There's a lot of admiration considering what he had to go through to get where he's at. And that just kind of, it's like he's paving the way for everybody else, which I admired. And once again, I thought his route was good. There was a lot of interesting revelations in his route that were solid. I think for that would be a match. I'm not quite sure. That's kind of like question mark. So, just personality differences, I think maybe. So I don't know in that regard, but I do like him. Liked his route. He's funny. He has a lot of funny scenes. He has a lot of funny moments.
All right, I'm putting him under torrid and temporary. And the reason why, I quite like this guy. I like him a lot. I really respect him. For him, I thought he was going to be my favorite of all the guys because I love fun, flirty. I love, I related to him in some ways. And there's a lot of things I really love about him. But I couldn't put him up at the top of my list because his root kind of did me in. There's a trope of miscommunication in a lot of Otome games, and that's one of my least favorite root tropes is miscommunication causing drama and problems, and I didn't quite like that. So I kind of felt like he got done dirty a little bit as far as how his root was written and the way that the character reacted to those miscommunications. I did not like that. I really loved him other than that. But I think for us, it's going to be a hot, fiery, torrid, sexy marriage, but it's not going to be forever. How about for you?
I say question mark. Yeah, I just I could potentially see it, but it wouldn't be long lasting. He would be fun. But how long would that fun be? I don't know. You know what I mean? After a while, I don't know. I think personality clash type thing. But sure, I'll try it out.
Well, I think Sirius and I are pretty agreement on a couple of those things. Yeah. And Milky said it felt cliche. There's some cliche things in his route. Boxcat says, I'll give him a shot. And we all are saying, everyone's saying mad respect. People respect him.
Yeah, I do too.
This is Riku. Riku of the Blue. He is a patrol soldier. He's a Yomi soldier, and he's the guy that's like, hey, Byakuya, Olympia, you're not allowed down here, okay? You need to have a permit. I'm not letting you in here. And we're like, in your face, here's a permit right here. He's the heir to the Blue. He's going to be the next leader after Lady Shura. And he is a classic tsundere in his personality, as sunbun as they come. All the things, where they're spiky when you first meet them and rude and terrible. But then when you melt their spiky exterior, you crack the shell open and they're soft and gooey on the inside. That's how tsunderes are. And he's classic. He's also a very strong Batsu user. And he's probably the second most powerful Batsu user, and you find that out really early in his route. He's the second most powerful Batsu user on the entire island. And in second too, that's Himuka, I think they said Himuka is number 1. So I don't know who's stronger with Batsu, Olympia or him. But anyway, he also is he's a dancer. And he's got some dope dance moves, y'all. And Byakuya is also a dancer, She's a sun dancer, and he's a Batsu dancer. He's blue and watery. He's really hot, y'all. And I won't tell you exactly what I think about him yet because we're going to wait for the tears. First, I'm going to let Hannah talk about Riku.
Riku is something else. He is... I like the look on his face because he's very he is so stern tsundere. You can see it in his eyes. It's just his head's about to blow. He's a bit too diligent for his own good, but his route was a ride. That's all I will say. And if you have not played this, please play this game. I'm a peddler of this game. Yeah, he is just classic Tsun. I thought they were cute together, because she's got a little Tsun in her, and it meshed well. She could really reel him in, and I think that I too could reel him in.
If any of these love interests are enemies to lovers, it's probably Riku.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Okay, I'm putting him under say yes. At first, I was like, you can miss me with that BS. How dare you? How dare you, sir? Because his worldviews, the way that he was taught to be a racist a-hole. And I did not appreciate that at all. And I couldn't stand it. But at the same time, I could understand that it was society that had created a monster in him, you know, and he was just doing his best to be what was expected of him as the heir to the blue. And he had a lot of pressure on him and that kind of thing. And then spoilers happened. And I got to see another side to him that I didn't see in the beginning. And by the time his route ended, this man had a lot of dynamic change in him and his route. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But it made me love him. By the end of the thing, I would say yes. How about you?
It's going back to real. I can really reel him in. In the end, like, yeah, I could say yes to him because I know that we would have a very interesting relationship. He would be a really good partner to have. Would she really calm him down, settle him down? Like, don't need to be so high strung there.
I think he'd be really loyal too. Deep down inside, y'all, just trust me, okay? I know he seems like an a-hole, and he is. And he has, you know, he needs to relax. But deep down inside, he's a good dude. Boxcat says, I love tsunderes, but social justice and views are important to me, especially if in a relationship. That's fair. That's real. Yes.
That's really good. Yes.
Milky says he changes a bit later after he melts, but yeah, conflicted. This is Yosuga. Yosuga calls himself the steward of hell. He's the bathhouse owner in Yomi. That big, beautiful vacation bathhouse. That's his. And then he also has a very mysterious and secretive personality. When we first meet him, he's telling us our love fortune, you know? Very mysterious of him. Very secretive kind of a guy. You don't really learn a whole lot about him until you get into his route, which makes him very intriguing. He also is really good friends with Kuroba, and he knows Tsukuyomi really well, as we saw. He was the one that brought us down to Tsukuyomi's home. And he is also a very good wingman. And everybody else's route, you know, he's like, let me help you out and give you some advice, Byakuya. And he also is a good wingman for the other love interests. He's kind of the opposite of Akaza in that, where in everybody else's route, Akaza is the guy that's like, yeah, marry me. You could marry me. And meanwhile, Yosuga's like, yeah, I'll help you out, bro. You know, I'm a good wingman. He has a couple of employees that in the bathhouse, Camellia and Juliet there. Juliet is one of the mice that's sitting on Camelia's shoulder right there. And Camellia is a doll that was created by Tsukuyomi. And so you quite often see those characters hanging out together. Yosuga is a really good boss. He treats Camellia really well, and he treats Camellia more like family than he does as like an employee, which is great. And the bathhouse is like the place of it's like the place of relaxation. It's a spa, it's a restaurant, it's a love house or whatever you want to call them. It's all of those things. And Yosuga is the dude in charge there. So that is about him and his personality. Again, he is very secretive, and he's one of those characters that some people love him and some people hate him. All right, Hannah.
So yeah, I don't quite hate him, but I don't really like him. I thought I was going to really like him at first until as we got along in the route. And I was like, there were some things that kind of like is a no for me. This is a no for me. But it sometimes it gets to the point where I'm like, even if there's some redemption or something happens, and I get it. Yes, I can't totally hate him because I understand certain things, but I don't really care for him personally. This is a personal thing. Do I think they were great together? No. I just don't think. Yeah. And, you know, people are I know he's pretty popular, and I respect, if you like him, I get it, and I respect that, but it's just he's not for me. Let's just say that.
That's the kind of reaction that he elicits. All right, let's rank him. He's my favorite. I love him so much. This is why I love this man, okay? Like, he's my soulmate, okay? He's a bad boy. Like, when we first saw him in the bathroom, when we first met him, I was already like, oh, You're trouble, aren't you? I knew it from the second I first laid eyes on this man. He's trouble. He's also very sexy and very like he's flirtatious in a mature kind of a way, but he's also nice. You know, he's a nice, good person. He can be nice. He can also be not nice. He also is a sad boy. And one of my all-time favorite character tropes are sad boys. And I cried real tears in his route. Real tears. Listen, okay, if the love interest has a breakdown in front of me and is crying, like, you're probably going to be at the top of my brain rot list forever. Like, tears, I can't. Okay? I can't help it. And then he's like so smooth and charming, and he's also sus, you know? Like, how come you got to be so secretive? What are you hiding? That makes me love him. Also, he's so hot. I love his freaking voice acting. It's so freaking good. I fell deeply and madly in love with him. So yeah. Okay, I'll stop gushing. Hannah.
Yeah, I could see that ending in a divorce between him. It wouldn't last. I'm sorry. And it's crazy because I'm a Scorpio, he's a Scorpio, and you would think, but yeah, I can't. No, I don't think we get along. It's just a personality difference. I'd be like, you know, like I said, there was a couple things that were kind of like irked me in his route, and it's kind of like, then I'm like, nope, shut down. I'm like, we're not doing this.
All right, let's talk about the next husbando. And now we have all of the ones that were on the top. Those were the actual love interest. The rest of these are all side characters. They do not have a route. We'll be able to fly through them quicker. This is Lord Douma. He is the Lord of the Yellow, the leader of the Yellow. He is also the legal guardian of Byakuya. But listen, y'all, I could put him on the list because he's not my legal guardian, okay? He's a DILF as far as I'm concerned. He is an outsider, which means that he came from like IRL world or so. You know how Tokisada is a historic figure? I think Douma is too. Anyways, he washed up on shore one day and he became the leader of the Yellow. He also has the power of hearing the voice of Hiruko, which is like their deity. He's the only one that can hear the voice of Hiruko. And he is really rude and mean to poor Byakuya, and he's very stoic. You know, it's really hard to see what he's thinking. He does not share his emotions. He just kind of acts rude and mean all the time. That's his personality. Also, he's extremely attractive.
Yes, he is mean, and he could be a jerk and super, super stoic, but I love him though. If you know Otome Kitten, that is her man. She will let you know that is her man. But I kind of agree. He's very dull. Yeah, I could see myself putting up with that.
Milky says generally claiming to hear the voice of God is not a good sign. Okay, he's my butt, hear me out, okay? I know what Milky is thinking. Milky's like, girl, really, why? Okay? Listen, I love him, okay? I love him. Even though he's a jerk, that kind of makes me love him more. You know, you'd have to really work at it to like melt his icy heart. And he's super hot. And I like how he's older and mature, and he's authoritative, and he's rich. And you know, like he's kind. If you think about it, like, well, he's not kind. He's an ass. But he raised this girl that he had to take in. And sure, he could have been a better father figure. Yes, okay, I won't deny you on that. But he could have been worse. I think deep down inside, he has a kindness to him. It just needs to be brought out with the right circumstances, you know? Someone needs to tell him it's okay to like take a deep breath and de-stress and like tell the people you love that you love them. Just relax and you'll be fine. Hear me out.
I say yes because, like, I think it, you know, deep down, the stoic ones, deep down, they're really good people.
Milky says that he redeems himself sometimes, and sometimes he's just an ass. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not wrong.
Exactly.
Not
Exactly. Wrong. The argument is that he could have been worse. That's why I love him, Box Cat. Okay. I love him. Okay, now this next dude, this is Lord Jigen. He is the Lord of the Red, and he's also an outsider who has knowledge. He's like got the power of science, essentially. And he's very kind. He's very sweet to Byakuya. He kind of takes on like a mentorship role for Byakuya. He's like a sweet grandpa, and he's very wise. He's a kind, nice person when most people on this island are not very nice to Byakuya. He is consistently nice.
I think he is super sweet, and he's a really good guy, and he's handsome, older man. What's not what to love? There's nothing bad to say. He's just great all the way through, and he's level-headed too. And you'll see throughout the game, he is one of the most level-headed characters in that story.
Well, he's already 50, but if I'm single by the time I'm 50, I'm marrying him. I would say it wouldn't be temporary. It would be long term. And he's just a wonderful person, and I would trust him. He would treat me like a queen, and he'd be a good husband. He's not as exciting to me as some of the other guys. You know, my heart doesn't scream for him, but I quite like him. And he's like, you know, he's a DILF. Yes.
Oh, he's definitely soulmate material in my opinion. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. He's just a really good guy.
Boxcat says that he seems quite decent, so he'd be a yes. Milky says very reasonable, very decent, serious. He's good, kind, and trustworthy friend. Serious put him in the friend zone. Kaina is of the yellow. Kaina we met in Yomi. He's been banished to Yomi, which is why he has that tattoo on his face. He has a twin brother who's the younger twin brother. He's the older twin brother, and we're about to meet. We're going to talk about his other twin brother. It's Kanan. And Kaina is a really sweet, very friendly, very hardworking, but just really friendly, fun, easy to get to know type of a guy. And he's also a sad boy. You know, him being in Yomi has to do with his sad boyness. You know, things weren't fair for him. It wasn't right what happened to him. It wasn't right at all. It wasn't his fault. And he's just a good guy. I love him dearly. I wish he was a love interest. I'm really upset that he does not have a root. He's one of the characters in all of Otome. He's one of the characters that I most want to root for, and I'm very disappointed that one does not exist. He's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Okay, Hannah.
Well, he's the best. I love him, and I love a cute blonde. And he's so genuine. And you find out more about him. I think he had enough material to actually be a love interest. And there's some things I understand, but it's like, for me, I adore him. I love him so much.
He is to be adored. Let us rank him. I'm putting him under say yes because all the things I just said, there's nothing I don't like about him. He's perfect. He's wonderful. He's loving. He builds things. You know, he's a carpenter by trade. And he does nice things for other people. He's protective of people he cares about. He's a good guy.
Oh, yeah, he's perfect. And I think he would be soulmate material for someone like me.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of want to, I'm going to put him in between soulmate and say yes.
That's a really good position, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next guy is his brother. This is Kanan. Kanan is the other twin. And although one twin is yellow, Kanan he's the leader of the Orange. He's also a journalist, a tabloid writer. That's what I'll say. I'm not going to put the word journalist with this man. No. As far as twins goes, he's the younger one. And I just had to put this one word on there for this man. He's trifling, okay? He's trifling. Byakuya's like, can you stop writing like terrible tabloid stories about me in your little news articles? And he was like, no. Like, really? He doesn't care what Byakuya thinks. He has his own motivations. I guess that could be a boon. Some people like that, you know, that's confidence, you know, I guess. I don't like him. I don't like him at all, and I could say a lot of terrible things about this man. But I'm going to let Hannah talk about him.
Well, I like trifling trash sometimes. Sometimes you need trifling trash as a treat. TP. Whatever that is. But I hate him, but I love him at the same time. I don't know why. It's entertaining trash, and that's alluring to me, okay? That's all I'll say.
Okay, I have trash bandos too, so I forgive you for this one. Oh my God, Kanan. Yeah, at first you're like, oh, he could be nice. Mm-mm. Okay, I'm putting him under do not marry because I do not like this man at all, okay? He drives me insane. He's a trash bando. He's not my most hated trash bando of all trash bandos. That award goes to Capuchin from Virsh. This one, but you know what? Banish. Okay, Hannah.
Well, hear me out. Sometimes I like a trash. And in a different setting, in a different world, I'd be like, sure, why not? Let's get married.
All right, this is Nagusa. He's the heir to the Jade. He's also very popular with the ladies on the island. You know, he comes across as like this charming, debonair, rich, princely kind of a guy. He's also Kanan's bestie. He is. And in his personality, he comes across as being charming, but he's a pompous asshole. And he thinks he's very entitled. He's entitled. He thinks everything should be his. That's what he thinks. Anything else about him and his personality?
Well, if he's friends with trifling, you know, that says a lot. It's another piece of trash that I kind of like. I don't like him as much as Kanan at trash level, but I get it. I get it. The only thing I don't like about his look is that little windmill thing. Whatever that is.
Good looks wasted, says serious. Fashion jail. Because of the windmill on his face.
No, it's another hear me out.
I put him on, he's on my shit list, okay? Do not marry. I do not like this man. No, he's a hard no for me.
It's another piece of trash that I'm okay with marrying just in trash land. Go live in trash land together.
Okay. Both of them.
Yeah. We could all be degenerates together. Why? In a perfect world.
Okay, this is Sakyo, okay? He's like the Lord of the Violet. I don't know if he is the Lord of the Violet. I don't know if there is a Lord of the Violet. It's been a long time since I played, but I can't remember. I just remember I used to call him Lord Violet, you know? Because he's not quite blue, even though he has blue hair, but he's got the violet thing. Anyways, I used to call him Lord Violet. He's a doctor and he researches Haku. Haku is a disease on the island that basically makes people kind of like turn into stone and die. And it's incurable. And it's a big plot device in the stories. And yeah, your body can you could completely lose a limb to Haku, you know? And it's contagious too, I think. So it's a terrible thing to have, a terrible disease, and they don't know where it comes from or why. And so he's been trying to cure Haku, and he does have an eyepiece that is drama milky. That is correct. He's also Kuroba's mentor. He was, I think he was the one that kind of helped Kuroba become a doctor and all of that kind of thing. And he kind of roped Kuroba into doing Haku research for him. So that's what that relationship is. And he has his own motivations. He's very dedicated to his Haku research. And for him, I think he's the kind of guy where the outcome justifies the means. So he'll do things to get what he wants. So he's very persistent in that. That's a good way to say it.
I did not like him because there was some things that I was like, you know, he's pretty, but he's not like endearing trash. He's actually really trash. So yeah, no. Not even trifling trash, just trash.
Real. I agree. Trash in a way. Like, I like Kanan and I like Nagusa better than I like him.
Yeah. It's
and I don't like them.
them.
This is Lady Shura. Lady Shura. She is the leader of the blue. And here's a fun fact. She is the very first leader who is a woman on the island of all the colors. So I give her mad props for that, honestly. She's a pureblood, so she's not a leader that washed in on the shore. She was born on the island, I believe, and she is a pureblood blue. Well, I don't know if she has it, but the power of the blue is Batsu, essentially to turn souls into crystals. And so we saw that with Riku. He has the Batsu power. And for some reason, Himuka also has that power. But the blue, that's like their signature thing. And then she is a widow. And that's how she came to power. She's cold to Byakuya. If Byakuya is doing what she wants Byakuya to do, she's actually kind of nice and great and everything. And she has a heart for women in a place where it's a male-dominated society. She's kind of had to like claw and scrape her way to get respect and things like that and be a leader. And she does things like opens up a school for women and things like that. So because of those types of things, I really respect her, but she's not very nice to Byakuya in several of the routes. And so that kind of makes me lose points with her. How about you, Hannah?
No, I like how you brought up, she is very like for women's rights and everything. And it is really interesting how they explore that. And I really like that. He is something else, I'll just say that. And I kind of have a love-hate relationship with her, but more so a little bit love relationship with her. So she's my hot mess.
Let's rank her. I like some of the comments about her. Boxcat respects her. Milky says she's a type to kick the ladder down after herself. She is. She helps on one hand, but then she hurts on the other. She'll help you out, you know, like if it serves what she thinks needs to happen. But if you're Olympia and you're not doing exactly what she wants you to do, she's gonna thwart you. She's gonna stop you. And she did go through a lot. She is admirable, Sirius says. She went through a lot. She could have done it better. Yeah. You know what? I will marry her. You know, I respect her. I like her. But listen, she has a side that I don't like, and we're going to get divorced pretty fast because, you know what? I can't. After a while, I can't. How about you?
Oh, hear me out. Definitely hear me out because I like my degenerate woman too. I would like more of her story explored, to be honest with you, because she was a really interesting female character, and you don't see female characters come up like her often. She was sneaky, but I love it. I'm here for it. You can go with the Orange Man and Jade Man, and
this is Tsukuyomi. Tsukuyomi is an eccentric loner. He lives in Yomi, far away from everybody else, next to a magic lake. That's a dangerous magic lake. And he was talking about in the common route, don't go too close to that lake, because you'll get sick. He's also an inventor. He's a painter. He's an artist. He's a doll maker. He's even holding a doll right there. And he can make magic dolls that come to life. He's very mysterious. And the women of the white, he's actually known as the protector of the white. And so that's why Byakuya sees him as like a family member. They're not actually related, but they are, she sees him like that, as a friend, someone she trusts, someone from her past. And he's definitely very protective of Olympia. He's an interesting kind of a guy. He's sus in a lot of ways. And he's got a lot of love to offer, I think, deep down inside. He does what he wants. He's a wild spirit type of a guy. You can't tell him what to do. but he's also wise, and you know, he thinks what he does is the right thing to do when he does it. And root when, because he has no root, and that makes me horribly upset, and I'll tell you why when we rank him.
I found him intriguing. He's very interesting. There's some things I wasn't quite fond of. I get it to an extent, but I just personally wasn't, you know, not my thing. He's not my type entirely, because I could see us once again not getting along.
He talks like an edgelord. And he has the same voice actor of another guy that talks like an edgelord from Virsh, which is Anku, right? Same voice actor. I put him under Husband's soulmate. He's dramatic. He's trash. He's sus, you know? But he's also extremely beautiful. And he's mysterious, you know? And he's magical. He's powerful. He has a lot to do with the lore of this game, and I'm absolutely obsessed with him. Yeah, you know, I like a creative soul that is a wild child who is eccentric, who keeps you guessing, you know? He would be a really fun route. In fact, there was a side story. I think it was a side story. Maybe it was an alternate ending or something that teases you.
That's why I thought he was going to get a route in the sequel.
Because of that. He didn't. I don't read Japanese. But I heard he has no root in the sequel.
He does not. No, no one new has a route.
That breaks my heart. My heart is broken. He's Husband's soulmate. I love him just as much as I love Yosuga, and I will complain that this man doesn't have a root until he eventually gets one. I hope.
It's the same as Yosuga. I don't think we last. Just personality differences.
He has a lot.
Yeah.
And that's all of our husbandos. That's all the husbandos and the waifus. All right, y'all. Well, thank you all for being here. If you're new, hi, I'm Rue Jitteru, and I'm your diva for romance games. And if you like ranking and roasting husbandos, if you like playthroughs of romance games, Otome games, dating sims, and all that kind of stuff, well, consider giving me a follow, give me a like, consider giving me a subscribe, because we're going to do a whole lot more of this. Thank you all for being here. You're an absolute stunner. And thank you, Hannah, for joining in the discussion today.